In a recent op-ed for the Cipher Brief, former CIA officers are urging more concrete action on alleged Havana syndrome, claiming that Russia has launched a global hunt for U.S. officers using microwaves and even calling the mysterious illness an act of war. The former officers called for increased U.S. military presence in Eastern Europe, financial sanctions, and for Russia to face investigation in The Hague.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Just this week, Senator Susan Collins shared she had secured funding for victims of Havana syndrome in the almost $800 billion Pentagon spending bill. Collins declined to share exactly how much had been appropriated. A congressional aide cited national security concerns.
Blame it on the Russians. Always, right?
Very skeptical of Havana syndrome. I'm really skeptical. I suspect you both.
The Hague? Since when is the U.S. acknowledging the authority of The Hague?
We should definitely go to war with Russia over completely unproven, unsubstantiated allegations of weird
I would support sending Henry Kissinger to The Hague as our representative in this case, and then see if he doesn't return.
Yeah.
Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence of this, that this is Russia? For one, we still, I reported on Havana syndrome, and it's a really interesting, very mysterious thing that's going on, but they don't know anything yet. They still don't really know. Of course, it's like when you don't know, blame the Russians, right? When you don't know what the weapon or the surveillance, or whether it be a weapon or whatever it is that's causing this mysterious illness where people are getting brain damage, they're feeling all of these very odd symptoms. For those that don't know what Havana syndrome is, it's this, that people are feeling headaches, getting nosebleeds. The gray matter's changed in their brains. It's happening to U.S. to like CIA agents and diplomats and whatnot all around the world. Most of the attacks, by the way, happening in Austria. So, they've
right
said
near
that they
Russia.
don't know what it is. Right.
Think how close Austria is to Russia.
So then there it is. That is the definitive. Of course, it's obviously the Russians.
And let's make sure people might not realize, but we're putting attacks in quotes here because we don't know if they are attacks. And it would be remarkable to see this trial in The Hague actually play out, because I would love to see the United States try to present its case for the prosecution. Okay.
Well, this weapons of mass destruction, Ryan, obviously.
Right. Well, they would do the same thing. Colin Powell said, if there are biological or chemical weapons, here's what they would look like. And he put up artist renderings. That was his evidence. So that's what we would do now. They'd have a giant laser gun, here, an artist rendering of a giant laser gun, pointed at CIA operatives. And the prosecution rests. So far, and that's the thing. The CIA, if it can't come up with some evidence of what is doing this, right now they say might be Russia, might be China, obviously
might be microwaves. They don't even know what the thing is that's causing. Right. They don't know if it's sonic, if it's microwave. Now they're claiming it's microwave, but a bunch of experts, they've been looking at this since 2016, and they've said it's not microwave. It's not sonic. They don't know what was causing it. So suddenly they're like, well, it's obviously microwaves, and it's obviously Russia.
What's also interesting is that it sometimes hits, so let's say there's 6 people in an office, it'll hit one of them.
Right.
Well, what kind of supersonic laser focused, if you're blasting a building with microwaves, what kind of gun are you blast?
People are hypochondriac. If you tell a group of people, someone in this group, had these, and you describe these very mysterious, hard to pin down symptoms, and you start, well, how have you been feeling? Are you okay? You're going to get a number of false positives. That's been the case with the long COVID discussion. Some people who are claiming they've had long COVID symptoms, well, then you test them, they actually never even had COVID in the first place. Not to say it's totally made up, and not to say this is totally made up either. There might perfectly be some legitimacy to it.
At least with COVID, long COVID, they're pointing to
an actual disease,
an actual original cause. They won't tell us what kind of gun, what kind of weapon.
Right. But people are experiencing gray matter changes. I mean, they are seeing, the victims of this Havana syndrome are seeing actual gray matter change in their brain as if they've had a concussion, but they don't have any of that, the actual blunt force trauma or any sort of, anything that would lead to a concussion. So there is something real to it.
In a way that's different than outside of just normal gray matter changes that people go through.
The brain goes through changes as it, I don't know.
The doctors that examine say that it looks like actual concussion, which is why they needed a lot of these victims, a lot of them diplomats, even the Canadians, when they experienced it at the embassy in Havana, in their embassy, and they moved their diplomats away from the U.S. because they thought, we think the Americans are under attack, so we're moving. They experienced these changes, and they're saying that the governments haven't been helping them. The governments have been kind of looking at the gray matter changes, the concussion, the pain that they're going through, and sort of ignoring them. And so it's important that when a person feels like they have some sort of some sort of health problem, that the government addresses it, the government gives them the money and deals with it. That's a good thing that's happened here. But, on the flip side, then they're saying, well, we now think the Russians did this. We don't know. It could be our own surveilling our own CIA agents and diplomats causing this, because it is only mysteriously affecting Americans, except for that one instance when it also happened to get, I think, like 16 or 20 Canadians.
I guess I should look at the details of this too. But one thing I've wondered is, so Susan Collins has appropriated all of this money, for the quote unquote victims of Havana syndrome for their health care. Don't CIA agents already have health care? Like, don't they have the best health care that the government can provide?
Yeah.
What
else? With specialists?
Have we identified in a backwards way a problem that we're not actually covering the health care costs of our agents?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we ought to be. We ought to be covering everybody's health care. Are we not covering? Anyway, we've also learned that the CIA has been losing its undercover operatives. You see this recent reporting at an alarming rate? They're getting captured, they're getting killed across the globe. If your responsibility, is overseeing this absolutely calamitous operation, it's going to cause you some problems, and it's going to cause you and spiritually, and those spiritual problems can sometimes manifest as these types of symptoms.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still going to believe the victims and the gray matter changes. I don't want to call them crazy.
No, I believe that they've got symptoms. I just think that it's not a laser gun from outer space or from Moscow or whatever.
Yeah, we need to show the evidence of that.
Right.
Maybe it's a laser gun from outer space from the aliens.
It could be, yes.
The alien, I don't think it was the aliens who killed Jeffrey Epstein, and no.
But they're obviously Russian aliens if they're aliens
Russian
out there.
Aliens,
so
yeah.
clearly, we need war.
There's no evidence that there were aliens in Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile cabal.
You would say that.
Those were all reptiles and humans.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, tomorrow on Rising, we've got a great lineup for you. David Sirota joins to discuss how Democrats are backpedaling on their promises to American families and workers.
Plus, David Pepper will be here to discuss his new book on the growing extremist movement taking place in state houses. It's called Laboratories of Autocracy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all tomorrow.